miré de pronto y te empecé a querer, sin imaginarme que podía perder.
Alright, what is going on? So this is going to be a very chill and authentic day in my life of what I'm currently doing with my ecom brand. And my mornings literally just start like this. It's very chilled. I used to wake up at 5:30 a.m. I used to get very early because I was used to that corporate life. But I'm trying to keep stress down as much as possible so I can make the right decisions. And so what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just chilling out. You know, I'm currently in Marbella as well. I usually wake up and I go straight to Shopify because I'm trying to see what's going on. And you know, most people don't actually think this, but first thing I'm looking at is, you know, my numbers and refreshing my brain on what was going on the past week. And most people, they're like, what do you mean you check the numbers the first thing you get up? It's not what a lot of people say. But I'm checking my numbers and I'm making sure everything's in place. So right now, for the day, we're up about $3K. Hope you can see that. Yeah, I've been scaling recently, so the past week, and also this is what this vlog's going to be about, like how I'm planning on scaling this brand even further, and also how I started it, because I know a lot of you are not in this position and you want to get to this position. So yeah, the last week has been a 30% increase in revenue, so around about 50K revenue for the past week. We are getting very good margins at the moment, so like 25-30% margins, and it's because I'm doing this thing called luxury branded dropshipping. It is the best way in order to make a solid profit margin with dropshipping. You know, the thing that's got stigma about how you can't sell high quality products, anything like that. When you sell something good, it's a lot easier to sell, that's for sure. And it actually blows my mind because I used to work a 9 to 5, I used to work in Asda, I worked in a bar, I've done a few 9 to 5s, and it's crazy to me that I can wake up in a country like this and I can see that I literally made like a week's worth of work that I used to work, that same pay, in a fucking morning, and it is wild to me. It's, you know, I quit my job a while ago, but it still doesn't feel real. I don't know why, but this is what you should be striving towards. This is what you should be working for, because it's a lot better life than striving inside of like just grinding every day at 9 to 5. But that's not what this video is about. I'm going to tell you what I'm actually doing to achieve these things, because I know a lot of you want to know what I'm actually doing, because the numbers are wild, but the strategy behind it is actually a lot simpler than people think it is. So I was just working on the creatives for the brand and figuring out the next concepts and what I should be creating. But what I want to do is just run you through essentially how I find these types of products that are able to get these crazy numbers. I'm not, you know, going to go through it in depth. I've got other videos for that on YouTube, which I'm going to be bringing out. But essentially, it, you know, it's pretty standard. Like once you understand it, it will make sense. It'll be like a light bulb moment. So let me run through it for you. So essentially right now I'm on Amazon, and what I'm going to be looking for is a gap in the market. And a gap in the market is basically when some people are complaining about something. It might be a product or something like that, and then there is no solution for that specific person. And so then we're going to give them a solution. If there's enough people talking about a problem, then we're just going to give the solution to them. Do you know what I mean? Instead of trying to find products and keep on testing product after product, we're just going to go straight to the people who need a problem solved. Because if we're just going to sell the same product that 5 or 10 other dropshippers are selling, then what's going to happen is that the person is scrolling on their feed, and I've literally seen this by my mum because she interacts with dropshippers and fucking buys off them. She'll be scrolling and she'll be interested in one product, and that's probably the product that you would think is a winner, because everyone else is selling it. And she'll keep scrolling, and then she'll see that there's multiple people selling that product. And so she's then looking for the best price or the best offer or the one that's the most trustworthy. And you really do not want to be competing in that sort of way. You want to try and find a blue ocean in a sort of red ocean market, because most of these niches are red ocean now. It's just your job to find where can I stand out and where can I be the brand for a specific problem where there's not many brands like targeting that problem yet. So I'm on Amazon right now, and I'll just go for a little example for you. So for example, let's go to linen bed sheets. Yeah, this is a brand that I actually saw running this specific problem. And then if I go to one of the most popular ones that isn't sponsored, so I don't want organic cotton, so got 100% natural linen. Here we go, Danger Linen's bed sheet. Okay, this is, I think this might be it. Go to the reviews, 1 star. Okay, look, so first one we see 100% cotton. It says 100% cotton, it's 100% polyester. So that's not linen, but you could also test that with the cotton audience. Probably wouldn't, it'd be linen. So they got a fake feeling. These are so thin. You can read a book under them, so that'll be to do with the quality. Not linen, plastic, advertised as linen. Label clearly says microfiber, feels like the typical plastic polyester sheets. So like, this is the language I'd be using in my messaging. You know, it feels like plastic, I got it and it felt like plastic. And you can do a lot more research into this audience as well, and just find out exactly what is their language and what are they saying, and you're gonna use that language in your ads. It's simple, you're just gonna talk to them like you are them. And it's a very specific problem. And if there's a lot of people facing this problem, you can make a nice premium luxury brand and directly advertise to those people and say that you are the specific solution for this problem. This is a very effective way to make a brand that is going to last you a very long time. But for me, it was never usually like this, but I'll get into that a little bit later. We've got a paddle session coming up very soon. So I'll see you there. All right, so we finished up with paddle now. I'm looking like a tomato. I'm absolutely roasted. I'm shit, so I'm getting better day by day. That's the part. I've learned a new skill. But we're on our way now to the organic cafe because I'm starving. So yeah, this is just part of my day, is eating good every single day. I don't have like a day off or where I'm not eating good, because if you eat shit, then your business is going to be shit, in my opinion, because your mind isn't right. Hence why we're going to an organic cafe, because, you know, I'm not going to eat some shitty seed oils anyway. My little rant about diet can be over now, but point is, I'm hungry and I'll see you there. So I have a burger, this massive ass burger, but of course she doesn't want to eat anything. And you know what that means? Half of this is going to her.
It's going to me!
So I'll stay hungry, that's alright. Alright, so we're back at the apartment now. I want to go a bit deeper into what I was talking about earlier, which is the product itself, and actually how you go about building the brand, you know, the logo, how you have to think about the branding when it comes to actually starting one of these luxury branded dropshipping stores, and also why you should sort of pivot toward this way, because a lot of people don't talk about this specifically, but it's almost very important that you do at least understand this concept when you're going into dropshipping, otherwise you could mess up quite a lot and get quite a few complaints along the way. So we're going to stay on the linen bedsheet example. I'm not going to go into my product obviously, because there's a lot of copycats, and if you saw my creative, you saw everything, you could just take it exactly and then run it for a couple of days. But that's essentially not what I'm trying to teach people. I'm trying to teach people how to start a branded store, start your own product, and build something that's going to last and be consistent, and people are going to start copying you. Like every other guru that you see online is telling you to go and copy people, so you're going to be the one being copied, but you're going to be in a much better position. You want to be the one being copied, because if you're the one who is copying, you're not going to build a business. It's just going to drop off very quickly, and you're not going to build any real money in order to leave your job or do what you want to do, like I am right now. Now, when it comes to these products, what we're making sure that we're not doing is selling something for, you know, 20, 30, even $40, or, you know, £30 or whatever. Because if we do this, it means that the cost of goods of the actual product is going to be extremely cheap. And you know, if it's like if it's below £10 in cost of goods from the supplier, from AliExpress, wherever you're getting it from, it's likely going to be a very bad product. From my experience of making over 7 figures in dropshipping, I've made the mistakes of selling products that are low quality, and it sort of comes in with the whole branding side of it. When you're charging high and you're charging a premium, which is essentially what we're doing, you know, we're charging a premium for the products, you need to come across like a luxury brand. And it's very important, because you're selling a luxury product. You're no longer selling some shitty supplement to a grandma that just buys based on emotion. You're selling based on brand identity as well. But there's a lot of benefits with that, like I said. And because it's got that branded and luxury experience, people will pay a premium for it. They will pay a lot of money for it. You know, like my average order value on my store right now is about $180, something like that. So per order, the average order is $180. Sometimes I get orders of $700, simply because I have positioned my brand like a premium luxury brand, rather than just a shitty gimmicky dropshipping store that nobody actually trusts. And when they order the product, they are also happy with the product. That's the difference. And also what comes in with pricing these products at a lot higher is that your margins are huge. So like I get my product for about, you know, let's say $40. It's around $37. And then I charge the product for about $120 to $140. Then there's also offers, which I add on top of that as well. That's why the average order value is so high, because I just bundle it up and bundle it up. People want to buy more because I understand my customers. And there I have from say $40 to $130. I said, so it's $129 for one. So say the cost of goods is $40, I've got $130 product. That means
I have about, what is it, like $90 profit that I can get. And so I just need to acquire a customer like on Meta ads for say $40, $50, $60, $70, and I can still be very profitable on each sale that I get. Whereas if you charge something for like $50, you have to try and get a sale within like $10 or $20 spent. And that is ridiculous. It's very difficult now in Meta to try and just get a sale and get a sale every single time you just spend that little bit of money, because there's so much competition. And so when you're starting a brand, especially when you're starting a brand, you need to make sure that you have that room for margin. And if you have that, it's going to be a lot easier for you to scale. And that's why I'm able to scale this brand to such high profit margins and just keep on scaling consistently and not really have any bumps along the way. Because it's a premium, people will, pay a premium, and also I won't get chargebacks. I won't get people complaining all the time about the product because they actually like it. I'm building something that is people will like. Enough of that. I'm going to get into actually an example of how I would go about and doing this for a specific product, like the one that we spoke about earlier, linen bed sheets. That specific problem that I found. Now there was actually a brand doing this very, very well. Their whole ad account got banned and everything because of their own problems, I guess. So you can just take this idea for yourself if you want. But I'm going to go through the example of how I would position myself with this specific brand and little Miro board here. All right, sweet. So I've gone onto Claude and I've put this specific prompt in, which I'm going to put in the description if you want to go and get the prompt as well. You just copy and paste this, put your product information in once you have your product, and then it's going to give you some examples. And it's given some very good examples, and then we can get into actually building out this like brand identity to what we're going to be doing for the brand. So there's a few ideas here which is given me. Field spun is okay. I like Truly, so Truly linen. I probably would call it like something like Truly linen because I can imagine it would look very clean and it's very clear to the customer essentially what we're selling. And I also like flax and fold because linen is created out of flax. And so the customers who are like sort of educated on the product now because they've done into research into AI, they're slightly more aware of like how linen works because they've been ripped off and they want to, find a real solution. So they've done a bit of research. They'll know that flax is in linen, and the fold, it kind of gives it like a hotel kind of feel, like very luxury. So I would go with flax and fold. It's also a bit playful, but essentially this prompt just gets you names and brand vibe that's going to be playful or very serious. And based on what you like, you can then pick what you want. And also the colors it's going to provide you too. So we're going to go with flax and fold. And all I've got to do is really look at the logo, and I can just make it myself is essentially what I'm going to be doing, because I like to play around with it a little bit and make sure that it's perfect for the brand that I'm going for. We've also got the colors here, which you can choose. I usually just go with these colors straight away because they are very clean. This cream is probably a bit too dark. I'd probably go for more like a chalky color like this one here. But yeah, let's get into Canva now. All right, so it's already looking very clean as it is, flax and fold, because it is a clean logo. But we're gonna try and improve it a little bit, of course. So it's sort of like a Playfair type of font. And so I'm gonna get a nice one like that. That's very, very clean already. It looks like an established brand. It looks crazy. And I like how the and is a slightly different color. So they've got the golden flax here. Yeah, I think that's very clean as a logo by itself. Like, doesn't need to be too complicated at all. When you look at the biggest brands in the space, the brand identity is usually just like product driven, and they just want to come across as a luxurious brand. I've studied it a lot, and this works extremely, extremely well. So I might just reduce letter spacing a little bit. For this font, it should be all right at 0. That is essentially the logo done. And so when I'm like sort of coming up with these ideas for the brand, what I'll be doing is I'll just be ideating, going into Miro, putting the logo in, coming up with the different colors. And that really, really helps me in seeing the actual brand vision. So I might just actually copy this whole thing. All right, so we've got the colors there. We've got the color codes that we need in order to like go and make the website, etc. But we have the logo, and that gives me the brand vibe. And then I can go in and create the website. So we're gonna be using a specific theme. It's a very premium theme, as you can see. And in order to make yourself look like an established brand, we need to be using these themes. Otherwise, people are not going to be trusting you as soon as they land on your website as a completely cold customer. So yeah, this is really, really important. You get the theme right. And you can imagine with the logo and this theme, it's going to look very, very clean. If you want that theme, then you can just go to the description. I'll put it in there, so you can go in there. It's a very cheap one as well compared to Shopify theme. So I would definitely grab that when you're starting your store. And also, I just did a quick search on AliExpress. I'm not like going on AliExpress to find out exactly where my product is, because that's going to be a terrible price. You don't want that. And so essentially what I'm doing is I'm going to AliExpress, finding out exactly if my product is already out there. And when I did a bit of research into linen, it said that this specific standard, OEKO Tex, is a very good standard of linen. And that's just an extra selling point to convert the skeptical customers, because they're very skeptical. And like I said, it has to be expensive in my eyes. Like, it has to be a good quality product, or else my customers aren't going to be happy. If you see a highly priced product on AliExpress, it means that it's just a very good product. Now, I'm not just going to go straight to AliExpress and buy this for my customer. I'd like just would avoid like doing that at all. You can get a lot of complaints with AliExpress specifically. What I do is I go straight to my private supplier, and I'm like, look, this is the quality that I want. I want high quality, and then I'll send a load of different links from AliExpress. As you can see, I've got loads of different types here, which I could send over to them as long as it's the standard that I want. And also just find, and then they'll give me a load of quotations back, and then I'll just say, look, let me take the middle range. So it's good quality, not too expensive, not too cheap. And I'll just take that middle one. Make sure that the item's also got good reviews and it's got a lot of items sold. Like this one specifically obviously doesn't, so I'll do a bit more research into AliExpress as well. Now the private supplier I use is usually for the students in my program, the ones that I help on a more personal level. But if you're starting out, you can't find a supplier, then you can just use AutoDS, and I'll also put them in the description because they also offer some good products that you can just dropship from too. I've started a lot of stores, a lot of dropshipping stores, like more than you have probably. And when I did start, I sold cheap stuff. Like I sold gadgets, basically any, like I was talking about before. I mean, it's those like $30, $40 products. I even tried selling supplements, like a lot of people are telling you to sell at the moment. You know, I tried selling things which might have not had that good of an impact on the customer, and maybe try to market it in a way that was a bit deceptive or a little bit like not truly what the product actually does. And if the product isn't good, that's what you have to do. It's just as simple as that. You have to be a bit deceptive in marketing if the product isn't that good. But the problem is that you can sell that product. You can sell anything you want. If you're good at marketing, you can sell anything you want. I think that's the conception that people miss, is that like when you're testing ads and you're testing products all the time, you're not getting better at testing products. You're getting better at testing creatives and getting better at marketing, getting better at offers. And if that, you know, with that logic as well, what you should also be thinking, and what I came to the realization was, if I can sell anything I want, then why don't I just go to the high quality products first? So I started off with the thing, okay, well, why don't I just go sell high quality? You know, why don't I just find the most expensive products and sell that? And it was from a few brands that I had seen doing well, and I never seen dropshippers do it properly. And I thought, well, there's got to be a way, because brands are doing it, and so why can't I do it? And that was then the epiphany that I had. I was like, okay, well, I might as well just sell this product. Like, why not? Let's just go for it. And that's the thing. The first product I tested, it succeeded. You know, I didn't just go and sell some random high quality product. That's not what I'm saying. Like I said, I found the problem first. I found the problem in the market, and then instead of finding the cheapest solution, I found the most expensive solution, aka the best solution. I mean, most expensive doesn't always mean the best, but in the sense of Chinese websites and Chinese pricing, they price accordingly to how good the product is. And so just get the most expensive product and it's going to be the best. That's the epiphany that I had. And I was like, why don't I just sell a good one? And the good thing about that is, like I said, you get better margins. You get way higher profit margins. And so that's why the first product I tested using this method did so well, because I had so much room to spend on my advertising. You know, I got sales very quickly, and I got data very, very quickly. And I figured out what worked early on because I already knew who I was targeting. And so I just went after that person and focused on that person and just made it better. You try to sell something that has small margins, they're too thin, and your product is going to wear out. You might make a bit of money, but it's going to wear out. I can tell you that for sure. And now I know with this current method that I'm using, I can do this multiple times over and over again. And I know that it's going to work because I know that there are problems out there that people need solving. I just need the product to solve it. And back then, like, I literally couldn't keep my head above water. I literally couldn't. I couldn't figure out what it was. What should I do? Like, what's wrong? You know, I've scaled to very big numbers selling bad products. You know, I've made over 15K in a single day selling bad products, but the margins weren't as good as they are for me right now. I'm actually making so much more profit on a monthly basis based on the revenue that I'm making now, because I focus on the economics and I focus on the quality. And this is what normal brands do. This is just normal e-commerce. It's just the dropshipping stigma is to be scammy. That is the stigma, and it lives up to it. So what you need to do, while everyone's going this way, you need to go that way. I can promise you that is going to make the world of a difference for your journey in e-com. All right, so that's my day. That is my authentic day in the life. Now, you know, I'm not going to go sell you a fantasy and be like, that is what I do like every single day, because it's not. When you own a business, there are days where it is very difficult and you just sort of have to sit there, maybe even until 2 a.m. and just keep working. Or, you know, get up super, super early because there is something that you need to complete, or there's a hiccup in the business, something that you need to do. You know, with business, it is very volatile. So I'm not going to say every single day is I'm going to a cafe, because I'm just not. But what I do love is that this is my life, you know? Now, I hope you like this, and I hope you like the strategy that I'm talking about, because in the next video, I'm going to dive more deeper into actually how to find these products, a bit more deeper than I did in this video, and the whole process from point A to point Z when it comes to starting your own brand. So stick around and make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you get these videos coming out. I'm going to be sharing a shit ton of value that people are not sharing. No one's talking about this in the dropshipping space. No one's talking about building a brand. And so that's what we're going to be doing, making you a shit ton of money. So yeah, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.